What up? Stovilla Elohim Ra. Today I'm going to talk about maritime admiralty law, laws of the sea, and how they stilled your inheritance, the feminine. And it's all through adhesion, presumed adhesion contracts is what bonding means. The same word as religion. It's the ligaments that bond you, you know. Your mom had contractions, put you under a secret contract by the UPU, which is the Postal Union, Universal Postal Union. You can Google them and look them up out of Bern, Switzerland. Switzerland is the sisterland. It all goes back to the feminine, you know. You have contractions, put you under a secret contract with the UPU, which is the post office. They're the ones who deliver that all capitals name contracts to your house every day, and and that's why the Masons, they always wear that you see the little Gmail envelope on their aprons. That's I'm telling you, the hospital is a bonding warehouse. They're the ones that give you that birth certificate. They claimed you because nobody else did. Your mom has the contractions, goes to the hospital, then she goes to the maternity ward. That automatically creates a ward of the state. It steals the fruit of your labor. It makes you a co-ward of yourself. Actually, and that is the word coward. Co-ward and coward. Then you have, she gives birth, which is what all ships birth at the dock. You gave birth. Your mom gave birth at the dock. And put you on the citizenship. The water breaks. Come down the birth canal, cut the rope, which disconnects the baby from the mothership onto the citizenship, and then they call your belly button the navel, which is the navy, all water, all the ships are named after females. The man manufactures and the woman delivers the product. All ships are named after females, and they all give birth. They all birth at the dock. The water breaks and they birth at the dock, right there at the pier. Piers. It's the same. Everything is all about water. They're tricking people with maritime admiralty law, which means law is money. Mare is also a horse. You get married. You have a groom, which is you groom the male horse, and a bridle is what you put in the female horse's mouth to guide it. People need to understand these contracts that they're entering into. It's mare, which is a horse. Like nightmares. Dreams is an anagram also. It's from Merry Christmas, all that. It's from Capricorn, which would be Christmas, Merry Christmas. It's all about horses and bulls. Equinox. Equin is horse, ox is bull. Anyway, whole nother video. Okay, and then they poke the heel of the baby, they get the blood, and they put it on the index card, because they're going to patent that. That's what they do. Nobody claimed the afterbirth, any of that. The placenta, the umbilical cord, you left all that there at the bonding warehouse, and you signed your mama signed the birth certificate over as an informant instead. It doesn't say mother or parent. The parent means the pair that rents. It's from Pa, which is Pan, the goat god Pan. He had hairy goat legs, so he wore pants. It all goes back to Capricorn, which is the sea goat. People need to understand that. Their motto is I build. It's a whole nother video. I'm telling you this is so much. You gotta watch all my videos. You gotta put all this together, synchronize it all together, and then you'll have it. I'm serious. Nobody claimed that baby. Nobody. The mama signed it away as an informant in the maternity ward. And then they put it in the newspaper after that under new arrivals, because you don't birth. You're not birthed. You arrive and you depart. Nobody claimed you in the newspaper. They put it in the media for the father. Nobody came forward and claimed it. They just thought it was a cute little picture in the newspaper. So then, after 7 years, they declare you lost at sea. If you get hit by a truck and all they find is your leg and some of your fingers, they got to wait 7 years to declare you legally dead. And it's called salvaging under maritime admiralty law. You're lost at sea. So they claim your inheritance money, which is currency, which is electricity, which is consciousness. And then they turn it into money. Your real currency, your AC that they steal through the DC, the Washington DC, your account is your AC count. Anyway, they steal that. That's every documented worker is worth $6.5 million exchanged for their currency. You know, and you got to be on the docket. Got to have your documents and all this. They doctored your paperwork. That's what they did. You know, and then you taught cursive after that, so you can reconsent. When you turn 18, it's the age of consent. People think that's some cigarettes or something. That has nothing to do with cigarettes. Curse Eve. That's the curse. You know. It's a sigil. It's a signature. It's gold. Turn your lead into gold. Don't be lead. Be gold. You are the author, the authority. You travel. Don't drive. Travel in an automobile. You have an autograph. Signature is a witch's sigil. Signs you out of natural law, nature. You know, Mother Nature. M-A-N-A. N-A is salt. The land. Salt of the earth. Manna. Okay, where am I? Okay, we have sons and daughters. We do not have kids. Kids are baby goats. Goes back to the Capricorn again. From the U, which is you. E-W-E, the mama goat, or Y-O-U, you, which really means customer. And child is how they said shield, or killed. C-H is ch or ka, you know. We have sons and daughters. Always remember that. Always say that. Or property. You can say property. That's your property. It's children. Sons and daughters are a fundamental right, you know. They cannot mess with it. It's a fundamental right. Everybody's asking for constitutional rights, human rights, civil rights. You want unalienable, inalienable, whatever you want to call it. You want those. Don't let them switch it on you. Make sure you have those secured, you know. And your name it means enemy, N-A-me. It literally means no moon, because they want you worshiping the sun, dying for the sun, the soul, S-O-L, soul dyers, soldiers, you know. It's N-A-me. Mama always told you, stop calling people names, you know. You are lawfully called, not legally named. You know, my mama calls me Jason. She doesn't name me Jason when she says my name. She calls me Jason. You gotta stop using that. That's the goat. I'm telling you. That's the very bottom of that. Right in the middle of that peace sign that they switched upside down on you. That's really the tree of life, you know, which would be at the top, which they tell you Cancer is a crab when it's a unicorn, because right across from it is the Capricorn. Those are the children of the corn. Whole nother video, you know. You just gotta let that all caps Capricorn, captive, captured. You know, you're under a captain. Let that name rearrange it. It's amen, no men. It's all about the moon. M-I-N, Illuminati, aluminum, all that. They do not want you balanced in that S, that yin-yang sign. They do not want you to find your center, your essence. That's the goddess. It's your success. E-S-S. You got to find that S. That is the two Taurus fields. You know, they call it the Bible. The Taurus is the bull. People don't. I mean, in the bowl, B-O-L-E, is the two trees, the tree of life, and the tree of knowledge. You know, it's good and evil. That's all it is. And neither one of them is bad. It's just light and darkness. They want you to be afraid of your shadow. Satan in Hebrew is El Shaddai. They got everybody scared of their shadow. A bunch of sissies. You know, you do not want to die in fear. I'm telling you that right now. Anyway, just it's all paper that they create. They create a straw man, which is a voodoo doll. It's just paper. All them paw words are all like patriot, paternity. It's all from Pan. All of it. It's all goats. It's nonsense. You know, even the most ruthless rulers, the most powerful kings, the biggest assholes ever, they sucked on their mama's breast. You know, they came from that womb. You know. That's where you were created, from the dirt, from the mud, the mother, you know. And the man provided the seed, but your mama gave you the rest, you know. That's the god S. The S is the Taurus field, the sine wave. The Taurus is the you know, every Taurus field has a magnetic center. You know, be still. The magnetic stillness, the eye of the hurricane, the tornado. You know, it's the Taurus field, like clitoris. Then they've confused your language, you know. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help everybody. You got to let that burn. Expire. That's fire. Out of the fire. Ex means out of the fire, which is the same word as fear. It's just another way they say fire. They don't want you to recognize that moon. The moon is the light of the universe, you know. That's why they call them schools the universities. That's where you learn. We the people. We means bank. The means God or creator. Tor again. The Taurus field. And people is pupil. We're here to learn. You cannot learn anything in the ethereal realm. That's what you're here to do. We are not here to contract, which is what they're doing with that all capitals name. We are here to expand, which is the opposite of contract. So please, people, let's expand for real. Let's expand. Let's shut this shit down. I love y'all, and it's time for truth for real. One of these days, I might not be around, but I'm gonna speak. You're damn right I'm gonna speak. Time for truth. Love y'all.